more fallout in Philly, Buddle's back in LA, and some big news in Canada next on The Daily. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily, here with Andrew Wiebe. I'm Nick Fershaw, and Andrew, we've been talking for the last few days about this Sebastian LE2 trade from the Philadelphia Union to the Vancouver Whitecaps. A lot of fallout, and on Wednesday we heard from Peter Novak, the Philadelphia Union manager. He definitely had some things to say about what Sebastian LE2 has been saying the last couple of days.
Yeah, when we talked yesterday it was a little bit one-sided, and Peter came out on Twitter and kind of gave his thoughts and summed up the situation. Essentially it's this: we have to do what's right for the team, and in their opinion this is what's right, and he asked the fans to have faith. He also asked them to calm down a little bit. Some harsh words to him on Twitter, saying he didn't want to see his daughters seeing that. So, but Sebastian LE2 finally makes it to Vancouver. They've been courting him for about 6 months. So pair him with Hasley, see where that goes.
Yeah, it's a nice fit for the Vancouver Whitecaps. They expect Sebastian LE2 to actually join them down in Arizona in preseason training on Thursday. And there's some other big news for the Vancouver Whitecaps as well. They have re-signed midfielder Camilo Sanvezzo, really the MVP of that team last year in their expansion year, and the leading scorer for the Whitecaps. Moving on down to Los Angeles, where there's big news about Edson Buddle. We expected this one to come down. Edson Buddle has signed with the LA Galaxy, back from his adventure in Europe. This obviously adds another dimension for the LA Galaxy up top with Robbie Keane, but they've got a couple injuries. Omar Gonzalez out, Juninho out. The former Brazilian holding midfielder did so well for them last year. Does Edson Buddle's return make the Galaxy the favorite?
I think it does make him the favorite. You know, it's hard to knock them off that perch the way they dominated MLS last year and really ran through the playoffs. But that is a worry. Defensively, they're going to have to find a way to replace Omar Gonzalez and Juninho. Marcelo Sarvas, a little bit of an unknown, obviously a player that they liked, but hasn't been in MLS before. And Leonardo's still going to be injured, so we'll see who they put in that back line and plug in. But I think for now, you have to put them at number one. Defensively,
they were so great last year, but yes, yeah. Omar Gonzalez's absence is definitely going to hurt them. But look, Edson Buddle and Robbie Keane up top, they're definitely going to score some goals. You can sound off later on Thursday on MLSsoccer.com when we have our preseason power rankings. They're coming out. Yes, it's never too early for power rankings. You'll just have to see if the LA Galaxy are the top team in the power rankings on MLSsoccer.com. Moving on to Canada, where the Canadian Soccer Association expected to make some big announcements on Thursday, including where those World Cup qualifying games will be held this year for the Canadian national team. But Andrew, we also learned on Wednesday there's a rumor and a report that the United States national team will play against Canada in Canada, something we don't see very often as a tune-up for those qualifying matches.
Yeah, and Canada hasn't been a kind place to the U.S. when they've gone up there. The Canucks have a 6-3-1 advantage in those games, and the last U.S. win came in 1997. But this is all going around Canada's centenary celebrations. The original opponents that were rumored about a year ago, England and France, but it turns out that'll be the U.S.
Of course, the U.S. and Canada met during the group stage of the Gold Cup last summer. That was in Detroit. The United States won that one. Let us know what you think. Post some comments below this video about the U.S. and Canada going at it up in Canada. And if you want to get the daily every day, make sure you subscribe by clicking on this button right here. Well, last but not least, it wouldn't be a daily if we weren't talking about the plight of Clint Dempsey abroad. Another goal for the former MLSer. Fulham doesn't get the win, but Clint Dempsey at it again.
Yeah, his 7th in 5 games, and 1-1 draw against West Brom will be especially disappointing because Clint had one called back for offside. That one was clear, but he also had a chance late in the game to put him up, skied the header over the bar. So another goal for him, but not quite what he would have wanted.
Well, it's certainly been a big week. Landon Donovan with 2 assists, and Clint Dempsey gets on the score sheet again for Fulham. That does it for us. Make sure you log on to MLSsoccer.com for all the latest headlines and the new edition of Extra Time Radio that comes out on Thursday. You can find that on iTunes and Buzzsprout. We'll see you again tomorrow with another edition of The Daily.